Ladies and gentlemen, there is a silent battle waged every single day, a battle not fought with fists or weapons, but with thoughts, distractions, and decisions. It's a war between your greatest potential and your smallest excuses. Weakness is a whisper. It tells you, you can't, you shouldn't, you won't. It wears the disguise of comfort. It sneaks in through procrastination, fear, and doubt. It seduces you with temporary ease while stealing your permanent greatness. But here's the truth. Weakness is not your destiny. It's a decision. And so is strength. When you reject weakness, you are not denying your humanity. You are rising above your limitations. You are taking control of your future by refusing to be controlled by your fears. You are saying, I was not born to quit. I was born to conquer. Focus is the weapon of warriors. Focus is what turns average effort into unstoppable momentum. While the world chases distractions and drowns in noise, the focused individual builds empires in silence. Every goal you've ever had, every dream that's still alive in your heart is waiting on the other side of focus. When you align your energy, your time, and your thoughts toward one powerful purpose, you become a force of nature. Don't ask for an easier path, demand a stronger mind. Don't beg for fewer problems. Build the courage to face them. Because champions are not defined by what they avoid. They are defined by what they overcome. Every individual on this earth has within them a wellspring of untapped power. It is not given only to the privileged or the gifted. It exists in you. But the tragedy of life is that most people never learn how to access it. Why? Because they accept weakness. They make peace with mediocrity. They allow distractions to blur their vision and self-doubt to become the author of their story. If you are to rise to the heights of your own potential, the first command you must give yourself is this: reject weakness. Stay focused. Weakness begins in the mind. It is not a condition of the body. It is a symptom of belief. It starts as a whisper, gently coaxing you into comfort, urging you to delay action until tomorrow, promising you safety if you only stay where you are. Weakness tells you that success is for other people, that your dreams are too ambitious, that the risks are too high. But make no mistake, weakness is the voice of fear wearing the mask of reason. And if you allow it to take root in your thoughts, it will quietly destroy every great possibility life has waiting for you. To reject weakness is not to ignore the reality of struggle. It is to face struggle with unbreakable resolve. It is to look adversity in the eye and say, I will not break. I will not bend. I will become stronger because of this. Rejecting weakness means abandoning the excuses that have kept you small. It means standing tall even when the world doubts you. It means committing to discipline even when no one is watching. And above all, it means choosing growth over comfort every single time. But rejection alone is not enough. You must pair it with its greatest ally, focus. The person who masters focus becomes unstoppable. In a world filled with distraction, where attention is stolen by endless notifications, scrolling screens, and shallow temptations, focus has become a rare and priceless skill. And it is the foundation upon which all achievement is built. The ability to lock in, to direct your energy toward one goal with relentless determination, separates the average from the extraordinary. Success does not come from scattered action. It comes from focused intention. When you stay focused, you begin to live on purpose. You stop reacting and start directing. Your mind becomes a tool, not a trap. Your time becomes an investment, not a liability. You build momentum. You cultivate clarity. You rise day by day into the kind of person who cannot be distracted from their mission. That's the kind of power that transforms not only careers and businesses, but entire lives. And here's the greatest truth of all. Focused, strong-minded individuals are not born, they are made. They are forged through daily decisions. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you get up when it's hard, every time you say no to what weakens you and yes to what grows you, you are shaping yourself into someone the world cannot ignore. So ask yourself today, are you living by default? Or are you living by design? Are you letting weakness dictate the pace of your life, or are you choosing to lead with strength and purpose? The life you desire is not found in more comfort. It is built in the fires of focus and forged through the rejection of every excuse that tries to hold you back. Reject weakness. Stay focused. These are not just words, they are principles. They are a blueprint for building resilience, success, and unstoppable momentum. Decide today that you will no longer tolerate the habits and thoughts that weaken your spirit. Decide that your future deserves your full attention, not your leftover energy. Decide that your dreams are worth fighting for, and that fight begins with mental mastery. You were not born to live small. You were born to be great. But greatness requires choice, courage, and clarity. Make the choice now. Live with courage every day and build your future with laser-sharp focus. The world is waiting for the focused version of you, the one who doesn't shrink, the one who doesn't flinch, the one who rejects weakness and rises into power. One of the most liberating truths you will ever learn is this: weakness is not something you're born with, it's something you accept. It's not a permanent condition that you're doomed to live with, it's a decision you make moment by moment, day by day. And just as you chose it, consciously or unconsciously, you can reject it. From the moment we're born, we're told that we have limits. We're told what we can and can't do, what we should or shouldn't want, and what's realistic. Over time, those external voices become internal. We begin to believe that our current circumstances define our future. We begin to equate fear with fact and comfort with safety. But here's the truth. Weakness begins in the mind, and it can be removed from the mind once you make the decision to do so. You are not weak because of your past. You are not weak because of your upbringing, your education, or your mistakes. You are not weak because life has challenged you. In fact, those challenges are opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more powerful. What makes a person weak is the refusal to rise in the face of adversity, the acceptance of defeat as identity. When you internalize struggle and wear it like a badge, you let it define who you are. But when you see struggle as a temporary test and weakness as a call to action, you regain your power. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who've never fallen. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. They rejected weakness. They made the decision to rise, to grow, and to lead, even when the odds were against them. That same power is available to you right now, and it starts with your mindset. Strength is not about physical dominance. It's about mental resilience. Weakness often shows up as self-doubt. It shows up as procrastination, as excuses, as fear of failure. It whispers, "You're not ready. You don't have what it takes. Play it safe." But here's the critical shift. The moment you recognize those voices for what they are, lies, you can silence them. You can replace them with conviction, with clarity, and with courage. You can say, "I choose strength. I choose growth. I choose to move forward no matter what." And this choice is not made once, it's made every day. When your alarm goes off in the morning and your bed feels more comfortable than your goals, that's when you choose. When you're tempted to quit halfway through a challenge, that's when you choose. When life knocks you down, when people doubt you, when nothing seems to be going your way, that is exactly when you must make the bold decision to reject weakness and take one more step forward. Remember, weakness is not who you are, it's who you become when you stop trying. And you were not born to quit, you were born to fight, to build, to win. But none of that can happen until you stop giving your power away to excuses, fears, and doubts. The most powerful transformation you can experience begins with one thought: I am no longer available for weakness. From that moment on, you become dangerous to failure. You become unstoppable in the pursuit of your purpose. You become a person who is led by vision, not held back by fear. So ask yourself right now, will I choose weakness or will I choose strength, growth, and discipline? The answer will shape your destiny. Choose wisely, choose powerfully, choose you. If you truly want to rise in life, if you want to lead, build, grow, and achieve at a high level, then you must come face to face with one of the greatest enemies of progress: excuses. Understand this: excuses are not harmless thoughts. They are weapons of self-sabotage. They are the silent killers of dreams, the comfortable lies we tell ourselves to avoid the discomfort of discipline. Excuses are the language of fear. Fear speaks in hesitation. It disguises itself as logic, timing, and even self-care. It says, now's not the right time, or I'm too tired, or what if I fail? And when you listen to those whispers, you begin to rationalize inaction. You trade long-term purpose for short-term comfort. You give away your power without even realizing it. Here's what you need to remember. Every excuse is a story you've written to protect yourself from growth. Growth is uncomfortable. It requires risk, effort, and vulnerability. And fear doesn't want you to grow. It wants you to survive. But survival is not enough. You weren't born just to survive. You were born to thrive, to build, to become, to conquer. And you can't do any of that while holding on to your excuses like they're sacred truths. Let's call it out plainly. Excuses are lies. They may sound reasonable. They may feel emotionally valid, but they're still lies crafted by your fear to keep you from becoming the person you're meant to be. And the longer you believe them, the longer you stay stuck. The longer you listen, the further you drift from your goals. The problem isn't the lack of time, money, support, or knowledge. The problem is the excuse that says you can't figure it out. Think about this. There are people with less than you who have faced worse than you and still found a way to win, not because they had better circumstances, but because they refused to let their fears speak louder than their faith. They replaced excuses with execution. They chose effort over ego. And most importantly, they acted, even when it was hard. You will never reach your potential until you stop negotiating with fear, and that begins by calling your excuses out for what they are. Every time you hear that voice saying, I'll do it tomorrow, respond with, no, you'll do it now. When your mind tells you it's too hard, remind it that's why it matters. When fear says, what if you fail? Answer back, what if I succeed beyond anything I imagined? This is the mindset of winners. They don't wait for fear to disappear. They move in spite of it. They feel the resistance and then choose discipline instead of delay. They don't make excuses. They make progress every single day. And here's the truth. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave enough to act. Excuses are the voice of hesitation, but action is the voice of confidence. The more you act, the quieter fear becomes. The more you move, the more momentum you build. And soon excuses will have no place in your life because you've trained yourself to replace every fear-based thought with a purpose-driven action. So from this day forward, make a new vow. No more excuses, no more hiding behind stories, no more waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect time is now. The person you need is already inside of you, and the power you seek will be unlocked the moment you stop justifying your limitations and start living your vision. Burn the excuses, fuel your ambition, move with purpose, because the life you want begins when the lies stop and the action starts. And if you're serious about growth, real, lasting, meaningful growth, you must come to terms with this universal truth. Discomfort is the price of entry. There is no breakthrough without pressure. There is no progress without resistance. Everything you want in life, more success, more clarity, more confidence, more results, lives on the other side of discomfort. And yet the world teaches us to avoid pain at all costs. We are programmed to seek comfort, to settle for the familiar, to stay in our little boxes of convenience and routine. But let me be very clear, comfort is a cage, and it's the silent killer of dreams. While it might feel good in the moment, it's keeping you stuck. Comfort never built a strong body. Comfort never wrote a best-selling book. Comfort never built a legacy. Only discomfort has that kind of power. Think about it. Every time you've grown, it came from a challenge. Every time you evolved, it came from stretching beyond what was easy. Growth happens when you're willing to step into the unknown, when you embrace failure as feedback, and when you choose to show up even when it hurts. The gym makes your muscles ache, but that pain builds strength. A difficult conversation might make your stomach twist, but it builds courage. Late nights and early mornings might burn, but they build resilience. Discomfort is your trainer, your refiner, and your teacher. It exposes your limits so you can break them. It reveals your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. It tests your mindset, your patience, your faith, and if you stay the course, it will reward you with transformation. But here's the catch. Most people want growth without the pain. They want success without the sacrifice. They want change without challenge. And because of that, they spend their lives circling the same patterns, making the same excuses, wondering why nothing shifts. The truth is simple. What you're avoiding is the very thing that will set you free. It's easy to convince yourself that discomfort is a sign you should stop, but discomfort is not a signal to quit. It's a signal that you're on the edge of something better. Most people retreat at the first sign of resistance, not realizing that pressure precedes the breakthrough. The mind says this is too hard, but growth responds, this is just the beginning. The champions, the leaders, the high performers, they feel the discomfort too, but they don't run from it. They lean into it. They understand that every moment of resistance is an opportunity to become more. They use discomfort as a compass, not a barrier. They know if it's uncomfortable, it's probably necessary. So the question is not, how can I make this easier? The real question is, am I willing to become the kind of person who can handle this? Because the person you are today may not yet be capable of holding the future you want, but you can become that person, and becoming requires discomfort. Becoming requires pain. Becoming requires pressure. This is not a punishment. It's preparation. Discomfort is shaping you. It's stripping away the parts of you that can't go where you're headed. It's forging a version of you that is stronger, sharper, and more capable than you've ever been before. So the next time discomfort shows up, welcome it. Don't avoid it. Don't resent it, embrace it, because discomfort is the cost of leveling up, and the reward is worth every ounce of effort. Remember this, growth is rented, and the rent is due daily in discomfort, discipline, and determination. Pay that rent, earn your evolution, and let discomfort make you unbreakable. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world where attention is constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions, there's one superpower that separates the successful from the stuck, the fulfilled from the frustrated, the leaders from the lost, and that is focus. Pure, undiluted, intentional focus. We are living in the most distracted generation in human history. Notifications, scrolling, noise, news, emails, entertainment. Every second of the day, something is trying to hijack your attention, and most people don't even realize it. They think they're busy when really they're just distracted. They think they're hustling when really they're just reacting. They confuse motion with progress. But motion without direction leads nowhere. Only focused action produces results. Here's the hard truth. The ability to focus has become a competitive advantage. In a world that's addicted to the next dopamine hit, the person who can lock in, cut through the chaos, and give their full energy to one goal at a time, that person is unstoppable. That person is rare, and that person will rise. Focus is not just about productivity, it's about purpose. It's about choosing what matters most and ruthlessly eliminating everything else. It's about saying no to the noise, the drama, the distractions, and the fake urgency so you can say yes to your mission, your growth, and your greatness. Because the truth is, you can't do everything. You can't chase every opportunity, respond to every message, or be everything to everyone. But you can do the one thing that matters most. If you focus. Every breakthrough, every achievement, every life-changing result starts with a decision to focus. Not halfway, not when it's convenient, but fully, fiercely, and with intention. Focus creates clarity. Clarity creates momentum, and momentum creates success. But it all starts with the discipline to direct your energy toward what matters. Focus means you stop multitasking and start mastering. It means you stop chasing shiny objects and start building something real. It means you silence the noise and amplify your vision. Because where your focus goes, your life flows. If you focus on problems, you get more problems. If you focus on solutions, you start finding answers. If you focus on excuses, you stay stuck. But if you focus on growth, nothing can hold you back. This is why focused people win. They're not smarter, they're not luckier, they're not even necessarily more talented. They're just committed to the path. While others are distracted by everything that glitters, they're busy building. While others start and stop, they stay the course. While others look for shortcuts, they put in the reps. Day after day, focused, unshakable, relentless. And here's what's beautiful about focus. It's a choice. You don't need better tools, a new job, or a perfect environment. You need a decision. A decision to remove the noise, to protect your time, to align your actions with your purpose. You need boundaries. You need vision, and you need the courage to ignore what's urgent so you can focus on what's truly important. Ask yourself, what could I achieve if I gave one thing 100% of my energy for the next 30 days? What would happen if I stopped splitting my time between 10 goals and poured everything into one? What if I made focus my identity? Because focus is not just a strategy, it's a lifestyle, and it's the only way to build something that lasts. So don't just try to do more, try to do less, better. Cut the distractions, train your mind, lock in, and build the discipline to stay focused long enough for greatness to catch up. In the chaos of modern life, focus is your secret weapon. Use it, sharpen it, master it, and watch how fast your life transforms. We often think success is made in big moments when we land the deal, step on the stage, launch the business, or finally see the results. But the truth is far less glamorous and far more powerful. Success is created through the small, quiet decisions you make every single day. The decisions nobody sees, the ones that feel insignificant in the moment, but shape everything over time. Small decisions are the seeds of greatness. They are the tiny votes you cast for the kind of person you want to become. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, that's momentum. When you choose the workout over the excuse, that's momentum. When you sit down to do the hard work instead of scrolling your feed, that's momentum. And momentum, once it begins, is a force that can move mountains. The challenge? Most people underestimate the power of small choices. They believe change only happens in giant leaps. So when they don't see instant results, they quit. They ignore the compound effect of consistent action and keep waiting for the perfect time or a lightning strike of motivation. But the truth is, there's no such thing as the perfect time. There is only now. And what you do now is shaping who you become tomorrow. Think about this. A plane flying from New York to Los Angeles that shifts its course by just a few degrees will end up hundreds of miles off target. The same is true in your life. Tiny shifts, either in the right direction or the wrong one, determine your ultimate destination. You don't need to change everything. You need to change something and repeat it. The power is in the pattern. This is the secret that high achievers understand. Big wins are built on small daily discipline. It's not about doing extraordinary things once in a while. It's about doing ordinary things with excellence again and again. They stack up. They build trust with yourself. And over time, they create unstoppable momentum. Every time you make the right choice, especially when it's hard, you reinforce your identity as someone who doesn't quit, someone who shows up, someone who leads. And that identity becomes your foundation. That's why the most important decision you can make each day is not what can I achieve, but what kind of person am I becoming? And your small decisions answer that question every day. Momentum doesn't care how you feel, it follows your actions. The first few steps may be the hardest. You might feel resistance, doubt, or fatigue, but if you push through just once, you build strength, you build proof, and that proof becomes belief. Belief fuels consistency, and consistency builds momentum that moves you further, faster than you ever thought possible. You don't need to sprint every day. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to move. One small decision, one disciplined choice, one moment of courage. That's all it takes to shift your energy and build momentum in your favor. So don't overlook the small things, the extra rep, the 5 minutes of journaling, the water instead of soda, the book instead of TV, the conversation you've been putting off. Every one of these decisions matters. Every one creates ripple effects. Every one puts you in motion. Massive momentum doesn't come from massive effort. It comes from mastering the micro decisions that others ignore. And once you're in motion, stay there. Protect your momentum like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Momentum creates belief, belief drives action, and action transforms your reality. Start small, stay consistent, and let the compound power of focused decisions lead you to greatness. There's a truth deep inside you that's been waiting to be heard. You were not made to live an average life. You were not born to blend in, to settle, to coast, or to merely survive. You were born for greatness. And no matter how many times the world has tried to convince you otherwise, that truth remains unshaken, buried beneath the noise, ready to rise. Greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It's not some magical gift bestowed at birth. It's within you. It's always been there. But here's the catch. Greatness is a choice. It's not something you wait for. It's something you activate. And that activation begins the moment you reject mediocrity as a way of life. Mediocrity is the default setting. It's where you land when you stop trying. It's what happens when you trade your potential for comfort, your purpose for popularity, and your goals for distractions. It whispers, just be realistic, don't aim too high, or this is good enough. But you weren't created for good enough. You weren't meant to just get by. You were designed to lead, to build, to inspire, to rise, and you know it. That nagging feeling in your gut when you're not living fully, that fire in your chest when you know you've got more to give, that's your greatness trying to get your attention. And the longer you ignore it, the heavier life becomes, because nothing will ever fulfill you like living in alignment with your potential. Nothing. But let's be clear, greatness doesn't come easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It demands more from you. It asks for discipline when others are lazy. It calls for courage when fear is loud. It requires you to keep showing up, especially when the results are invisible. But that's where character is built. That's where strength is forged. That's where greatness is born. Look around you. There are people half as talented living lives twice as bold. Why? Because they decided to stop settling. They chose to rise. They silenced the noise of doubt, the fear of failure, the comfort of average, and went after their vision like their life depended on it. And yours does too. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and do it with passion, power, and purpose. Every small act of excellence is a declaration that you refuse to be average. Every time you say no to mediocrity, you say yes to your destiny. Let this sink in. There is no safety in settling, no peace in playing small. The longer you deny your potential, the more life will feel off. But the moment you claim your greatness, everything shifts. Your energy changes, your confidence grows, opportunities show up. People notice, you step into rooms differently, you move with intention, you speak with conviction, because now you're not living by default, you're living by design. Your life is a message. What do you want it to say? That you stayed comfortable? That you gave just enough? Or that you went all in? That you fought for more, reached higher, and inspired everyone around you by refusing to settle? You have one shot at this life, and it's far too valuable to waste in mediocrity. So, choose greatness, commit to it, chase it relentlessly. Let it shape your identity, your habits, and your legacy. Because you weren't born to be average. You were born to lead, to create, to dominate, to inspire, to win. You were born for greatness. Own it, live it, become it.